Jai Guruji Maharaj. I'm just going to clean my camera. Forgive me.
Jai Guruji.
Jai Guruji Maharaj. Much better. So Shukrana to Maharaj, blessing us with another day to be here to complete the tasks that we have to complete in this lifetime. Another opportunity. Shukrana. So I want to ask for forgiveness for yesterday's internet issue. I realized that I was connected to the wrong Wi-Fi, so please forgive me. But really, honestly, it's a satsang of its own that the internet is working here because, in this country, you can't rely on the connection. So, but it's Maharaj. So, Shukrana that you're making it happen, Maharaj. But yesterday, I became so grateful. Situations like that happen where you recognize the things that you take for granted, and being here, I give thanks to the Wi-Fi in Canada. It's like, thank you. There's no interruption. More reasons to say thanks. So I did share the point forms of what was covered, obviously, in the page. It's, again, it's things that we know. We just know them, but it's very simplified. But what I love about Maharaj and what I love that he loves us so much that, you at the end of the day, this is all his doing. He's chosen for these books to be written because it's his messages. It's him talking to the doctor through Catherine, and it's his book, It does not matter that it's not written Guruji in the book. The masters alone are a huge indication that Maharaj has chosen for this book to be written. Nothing is of coincidence. All is in his control. All is his doing. But what I love and I noticed about Maharaj, and I was saying thanks, Guruji, that you actually gave us, we hear a lot of satsangs. We hear a lot of satsangs, but not so much about the past life, and again, someone like me who could inquire and ask herself, then Maharaj is in my life, but why is it that I'm still, haven't grasped on this commandment of Maharaj or teaching of Maharaj? How come I still fear, let's say with this girl, how come there's still fear of water? How come there's still fear of, for someone that shared, singing? So then with this book and choosing us who are here, nothing of it is of coincidence. He's telling us that it's for reasons that now we have become aware through this divine book. And he will show us the lifetimes that are important for us to know. So yesterday I was wondering, okay, then what's the purpose? What's the purpose? Because we already know the commandments. We already know all these messages and, have faith, have trust. We already know that. We already know that through the fakir that, we have to be the disciple that Maharaj wants us to be. Otherwise, then we have to come back and learn that. What's the purpose? And it's for him to get us to move through life without fear. That's the number one thing that I've got from this book, that nothing is in our control again, but have no fear, absolutely no fear, and realize that if you do, it's because you went through something in a past lifetime, but you don't need to be fearful of that, in this lifetime. So just move freely, because of course the Divine Master is with us. He hasn't come through another person to talk to us. In fact, he has chosen you to come and and to give you one-on-one direct contact, and that alone tells us that we are living on a dimension separate from whatever that is mentioned in this book. So just, again, we're not mentioned in this book, and it gives you so much shukrana to Maharaj. Okay, so I'm going to read the last part that it was important, the teaching that came, and then we'll continue to, I believe, chapter, it was 11 or 10? 10. Continuing on chapter 10. What lessons do you need to learn now? what is the most important thing you can learn during this lifetime so that you can continue to grow and prosper? Trust, she answered quickly. She had known what her principal task was. Trust? I repeated, surprised by the quickness of her retort. Yes, I must learn to have faith, but also to trust people. I don't. I think everybody's trying to do evil to me. That makes me stay away from people and situations that I probably shouldn't stay away from. It's keeping me with other people that I should break away from. It's keeping me with other people that I should break away from. So I want to say here that I've actually come across a lot of sangat, and I think we all have that. And maybe at some point I was the same, I have to say. So point the finger to yourself, son. So, that I just want to be around sangat. I don't want to do anything but that. I just want to hang out with people that know Maharaj and speak the same language as me, because I can't trust them and I don't know their wives. So this is a huge learning. And of course, Maharaj has already guided this, but this is a confirmation of what he had guided, that, sangat or no sangat, it's only him who decides who true sangat are. We can label everybody sangat, but only he knows who true sangat are. And we are to go to everybody and with the intention of helping and loving and charity and hope and faith, what we learned from last chapter. Her insight was tremendous when she was in this super conscious state. She knew her weaknesses and her strength. She knew the areas that needed attention and work, and she knew what to do to improve matter. The only problem was that these insights needed to reach her conscious mind and needed to be applied to her waking life. Superconscious insight was fascinating, but by itself, it was not enough to transform her life. Who are these people to break away from? I asked. She paused. I'm afraid of Becky. So Becky is her friend in this lifetime, but if you remember, we learned that she was her daughter in another lifetime. Yes. I'm afraid of Becky, and I'm afraid of Stuart. Again, Stuart is the one that she is having an affair with in this lifetime, and it was someone who had lived different roles in her previous lifetime. I'm afraid of Becky, I'm afraid of Stuart, that somehow harm will come to me from them. Can you break away from that? Not completely, but from some of their ideas, yes. Stuart is trying to keep me in prison and he's succeeding. He knows that I'm afraid. He knows I'm afraid to be away from him, and he uses that knowledge to keep me with him. And Becky? She's constantly trying to break down my faith in the people that I have faith in. When I see good, she sees evil, and she tries to plant those seeds in my mind. I'm learning to trust people I should trust, but she fills me with doubts about them. And that's her problem. I can't let her make me think her way. So going back to Maharaj's commandment, be under the control of your own opinion. If you're not, then you're under other people's opinion. Be under the opinion of yourself, that control. In her superconscious state, Catherine was able to pinpoint major character flaws in both Becky and Stuart. The hypnotized Catherine would make an excellent psychiatrist, empathic and unerringly intuitive. The awake Catherine did not possess these attributes. It was my task to bridge the gulf. Her dramatic clinical improvement meant that some of this was seeping through. I attempted more bridge building. Who can you trust? I asked. Think about it. Who are the people you can trust and learn from and get closer to? Who are they? I can trust you, she whispered. I knew this, but I knew she needed to trust people in her everyday life even more. Yes, you can. You are close to me, but you must get closer to other people in your life too. People who can be with you more than I can. I wanted her to be complete and independent, not dependent on me. I can trust my sister. I don't know the others. I can trust Stuart, but only to a certain extent. He does care about me, but he's confused. In his confusion, he unknowingly is doing me harm. Yes, it is true. Is there another man that you can trust? I can trust Robert, she answered. He was another physician in the hospital. They were good friends. Yes, maybe there is still more for you to meet in the future. Yes, she conceded. The idea of future knowledge was distractingly intriguing. She had been so accurate about the past. She, through the masters, had known specific secret facts. Could they also know facts about the future? If so, could we share this foreknowledge? 1,000 questions burst into my mind. When you find contact with your superconscious mind, like now, and have this wisdom, do you also develop abilities in the psychic realm? Is it possible for you to look into the future? We have done much in the past. That is possible, she conceded, but I see nothing now. It is possible? I echoed. I believe so. Can you do this without being frightened? Can you go into the future and obtain information of a neutral sort that will not be frightening to you? Can you see the future? Her answer was swift. I don't see that. They will not allow it. I knew she meant the masters. Are they around you now? Yes. Are they talking to you? No. They monitor everything. Being monitored, she was not permitted to peer into the future. Perhaps we had nothing to gain personally from such a glimpse. Perhaps the adventure would have made Catherine too anxious. Perhaps we were not yet prepared to cope with this information. I did not push it. The spirit that was around you before, Gideon. Yes. What does he need? Why is he near? Do you know him? No, I don't believe so. But he protects you from danger? Yes, the masters. I don't see them. Sometimes they have messages for me, messages that help you and help me. After these messages, are these messages available to you even when they're not speaking? Do they put thoughts in your mind? Yes. Do they monitor how far you can go, what you can remember? Yes. So there's a purpose in this explanation of lifetimes. Yes. For you and for me, to teach us, to bring us the disappearance of fear. Again, it's spoken about here. For you and for me, to teach us, to bring us the disappearance of fear. There are many ways of communication. They choose many to show that they do exist. Whether Catherine was hearing their voices, visualizing past images and vistas, experiencing psychic phenomena, or having thoughts and ideas placed in her mind, the purpose was the same, to show that they do exist, and even beyond that, to help us, to aid us on our path for providing insights and knowledge to help us become godlike through wisdom. How beautiful. And each one of us have our own personal satsangs, and we have heard many satsangs of how Maharaj has manifested in front of them even after he has left after Mahasamadhi. How, of course, suddenly they have a thought embedded in them, injected in them. The telepathic communications that we have today, it's all his doing, the darshans that we have, incredible. Every moment showing us that he is there, and that the reason that they say here is because they want to help us become godlike through wisdom. Do you know why they have chosen you? No. To be a channel? This was a delicate question, since the awake Catherine could not even listen to the tapes. No, she softly whispered. Does it frighten you? Sometimes. And other times not? Yes. It can be reassuring, I added. We know now that we are eternal, so we lose our fear of death. Yes, she agreed. She paused. I must learn to trust. She had returned to her lifetime's major lesson. When I'm told something, I must learn to trust what I am told when the person is knowledgeable. Certainly there are people not to trust, I added. Yes, but I'm confused, and the people I know I should trust, I fight against that feeling, and I don't want to trust anybody. She was silent as I again admired her insight. So because she had those experiences with Becky and Stuart, it made her not want to trust other people in her life. That just experience gave her that behavior and belief. Last time we talked about you as a child in a garden with horses. Do you remember your sister's wedding? So he's taking her back to a previous lifetime that she was a child in a garden at her sister's wedding. A little. I remember a little. Was there more to gather from that time? Do you know? Yes. Would it be worthwhile to go back now and explore it? It won't come back now. There are so many things in a lifetime. There is so much knowledge to attain from each lifetime. Yes, we must explore, but it won't come back now. So I turned again to her troubled relationship with her father. Your relationship with your father is another area complete in this life. Yes, she answered simply. It is another area to explore yet, too. You've had much to learn from this relationship. Compare it to the little boy in the Ukraine who lost his father at an early age. And this loss did not happen to you this time. And yet, having your father here, even though certain hardships were less, so she interrupts him and says, was more of a burden, she concluded. Thoughts, she added, thoughts. What thoughts? I sensed she was in a new era. About the anesthesia. When they give you anesthesia, can you hear? When they give you anesthesia, sorry. Have I pronounced that wrong? Anesthesia. When they give you anesthesia, can you hear? You can still hear. She had answered her own question. So she asked the question, like, when the doctors give you anesthesia, can you hear? And then she answers, yeah, you can hear. She had answered her own question. She was whisperingly, rapidly now, becoming excited. Your mind is very much aware of what's going on. They were talking about my choking, about the possibility of me choking when they did the surgery on my throat. I remembered Catherine's vocal cord surgery, which was performed just a few months before her first appointment with me. She had been anxious prior to the surgery, but she was absolutely terrified upon awakening in the recovery room. It had taken the nursing staff hours to calm her. It had appeared that what was said by the surgeons during the operation, during the time she was under deep anesthesia, had precipitated her terror. My mind flipped back to medical school and my surgery rotation, while the patients were anesthetized. I remembered the jokes, the cursing, the arguments, and the surgeon's temper tantrums. What had the patients heard at a subconscious level? How much registered to affect their thoughts and emotions, their fears and anxieties after they awakened? Was the post-operative course, the patient's very recovery from the surgery, influenced positively or negatively by the remarks made during the operation? So doctors think that the patients won't hear. In fact, they're well aware and they can hear. Had anyone died because of negative expectations overheard during surgery? Had they, feeling hopeless, just given up? Do you remember what they were saying? I asked. That they had to put a tube down. When they took the tube out, my throat might swell up. They didn't think I could hear. But you did. Yes. That's why I had all the problems. After today's session, Catherine no longer had any fear of swallowing or choking. It was as simple as that. All the anxiety, she continued. I thought I would choke. Do you feel free? I asked. Yes, you can reverse what they did. Can I? Yes, you are. They should be very careful of what they say. I remember it now. They put a tube in my throat, and then I couldn't talk afterward to tell them anything. Now you're free. You did hear them. Yes, I hear them talk. She fell silent for a minute or two, then began to turn her head from side to side. She seemed to be listening to something. You seem to be hearing messages. Do you know where that message came from? I was hoping the masters would appear. Someone told me, was her cryptic answer. Somebody was speaking to you, but they're gone. I tried to bring them back. See if you can bring back spirits with messages for us to help us out. They come only when they want to, not when I choose. Again, I know in this lifetime as well, Maharaj has said, I come when he chooses to. But also in that state, it's all under their control, everything. She answered firmly, you don't have any control over it? No. Okay, I conceded, but the messages about the anesthesia was very important for you. That was the source of your choking. It was important for you, not me, she retorted. Her answer reverberated through my mind. She would be cured of the terror of choking, yet this revelation was nevertheless more important for me than for her. I was the one doing the healing. Her simple answer contained many levels of meaning. I felt that if I truly understood these levels, these resonating octaves of meanings, I would advance a quantum leap into the understanding of human relationships. Perhaps the helping was more important than the cure. For me to help you? I asked. Yes, you can undo what they did. You have been undoing what they did. She was resting. We had both learned a great lesson. Shortly after her third birthday, my daughter Amy came running over to me. So he's just going into his own his own experience after this session, that one day his daughter Amy just runs to him, hugging me around the legs. She looked up and said, Daddy, Daddy, I've loved you for 40,000 years. I looked down at her little face and I felt very happy. So what children can reveal at any time. So we have finished with chapter 10. Let's have a sip again of our chai. I hope you're enjoying this book as much as I am. And today I found a YouTube video I shared on the page of Oprah interviewing this doctor, Dr. Brian Weiss. And it's incredible, how in the book it says that he's the one to do the healing, but in fact we know that it's Maharaj, it's Maharaj, and he's the one who is doing the healing. And the purpose, it's really the purpose of bringing this man is to bring this book out and to bring this awareness out. But he's written that. But later in one of his interviews, he does say that it's not him. So I want to say that. But in this book, he doesn't have that wisdom yet that it's not him. But he says, I'm there to help, to heal, where in fact it's all Maharaj. Okay, chapter 11. Just let me know you can hear me. We're not having the same issue. Just a hand would be up, or just yes in my comment.
Yes, son. Yeah.
No problem. Internet. Thank you, Guruji. Okay. Chapter 11. Several nights later, I was jolted, awake from a deep sleep. Instantly alert, I had a vision of Catherine's face, several times larger than life size. She looked upset, as if she needed my help. I looked over at the clock. It was 3:36 a.m. There had been no outside noises to awaken me. Carol was sleeping peacefully beside me. I dismissed the incident and fell back to sleep. At about 3:30 that same morning, Catherine had awakened in a panic from a nightmare. She was sweating and her heart was racing. She decided to meditate to relax, visualizing my hypnotizing her in the office. She pictured my face, heard my voice, and gradually fell back to sleep. Catherine was becoming increasingly psychic. I want to share actually when Maharaj came into my life, the first year, I was still having some nightmares myself and panic attacks. It wasn't like, instantly healed completely. And I would just have his visualization and we can all do that, right? We can visualize just being around him and talking to him, and how amazing that you can use this power of visualization to calm your fears and to just be in his presence. And he's at every moment there. Catherine was becoming increasingly, no. Catherine had awakened in a panic from a nightmare. She was sweating and her heart was racing. She decided to meditate to relax, visualizing I read that, she pictured my face, heard my voice, she gradually fell back to sleep. Catherine was becoming increasingly psychic, and apparently so was I. I could hear my old psychiatry professors talking about transference and countertransference reactions in therapeutic relationships. Transference is the patient's projection of feelings, thoughts, and wishes onto the therapist, who represents someone from the patient's past. Countertransference is the reverse, the therapist's unconscious emotional reactions to the patient. But this 3:30 a.m. communication was neither. This was a telepathic bond along a wavelength outside the normal channel. How Maharaj had said one day, all my children will be in touch telepathically. There's going to be a time that we don't even need to talk to one another. Use this speech meaning, and telepathically we'll be in communication fully. Somehow the hypnosis was opening up this channel. Or was it the audience, a diverse group of spirits, masters and guardians and others, that was responsible for this new wavelength? I was beyond the point of surprise. In the next session, Catherine quickly reached a deep hypnotic level. She was instantly alarmed. I see a big cloud. It scares me. It was there. She was breathing rapidly. Is it still there? I don't know. It came and it went quickly, something up high on a mountain. She remained alarmed, continuing to breathe heavily. I was afraid she was seeing a bomb. Could she look into the future? Can you see the mountain? Is it like a bomb? I don't know. Why did it scare you? It was very sudden. It was just there. It's very smoky. Very smoky. It's big. It's off a distance. Oh, you're safe. Can you get closer to it? I don't want to get closer, she answered sharply. It was rare for her to be so resistant. Why are you so afraid of it? I asked again. I think it's some chemicals or something. It's hard to breathe when you're around it. She was breathing laboriously. Is it like a gas? Is it coming from the mountain itself, like a volcano? I think so. It's like a big mushroom. That's what it looks like, a white one, but not a bomb. It's not an atomic bomb or anything like that. She paused and then continued. It's some type of volcano or something. I think it's very scary. It's hard to breathe. There's dust in the air. I don't want to be there. Slowly, her breathing returned to the usual deep and even respirations of the hypnotic state. She had left this frightening scene. Is it easier to breathe now? Yes. Good. What are you seeing now? Nothing. I see a necklace. A necklace on somebody's neck. It's blue. It's silver and has a blue stone hanging off of it, and then littler stones underneath that. Littler stones underneath that. Is there anything on the blue stone? No, it's see-through. You can see through it. The lady has black hair and a blue hat on with a big feather, and the dress is velvet. Do you know the lady? No. Are you there, or are you the lady? I don't know. But you see her. Yes, I'm not the lady. How old is she? In her 40s, but she looks older than what she is. Is she doing anything? No, she's just standing next to the table. There's a perfume bottle on the table. It's white with green flowers on it. There's a brush and a comb with silver handles. I was impressed with her eye for detail. Is it her room or is it a store? It's her room. There's a bed in it, with 4 posts on it. It's a brown bed. There's a picture on the table. A picture? Yes. There are no pictures in the room. There are funny dark curtains. Is anybody else around? No. What relationship does this lady have to you? I serve her. Once again, she was a servant. Have you been with her long? No, a few months. Do you like the necklace? Yes, she's very elegant. Have you ever worn the necklace? No. Her short answers required my active steering in order to obtain basic information. She reminded me of my pre-teenage son. How old are you now? Maybe 13, 14, about the same age. So he's saying about the same age of his pre-teenage son. Why have you left your family? I inquired. I haven't left them, she corrected me. I just work there. I see. Do you go home to your family after that? Yes. Her answers left little room for exploration. Do they live nearby? Close enough. We are very poor. It is necessary for us to work, to serve. Do you know the lady's name? Belinda. Does she treat you well? Yes. Good. Do you work hard? It's not very tiring. Interviewing teenagers was never easy, even in past lifetimes. I was fortunate that I was well practiced. Good. Are you still seeing her now? No. Where are you now? In another room, there's a table with a black covering on it and fringe around the bottom. It smells of many herbs. Heavy perfume. Does this all belong to your mistress? Does she use a lot of perfume? No, this is another room. I'm in another room. Whose room is this? It belongs to some dark lady. Dark how? Can you see her? She has many coverings on her head. Catherine whispered, many shawls. She's old and wrinkled. What is your relationship to her? I've just gone to see her. For what? So she may do the cards. Intuitively, I knew that she had gone to a fortune teller, one who probably read tarot cards. This was an ironic twist. Here, Kathleen and I were involved in an incredible psychic adventure, spanning lifetimes and dimensions beyond even that, and yet, perhaps 200 years earlier, she had visited a psychic to find out about her future. I knew that Kathleen had never visited a psychic in her present life, and she had no knowledge whatsoever about tarot cards or fortune telling. These things frightened her. Does she read fortunes? I asked. She sees things. Do you have a question for her? What do you want to see? What do you want to know? About some man that I might marry. I think back home in Iran, every girl goes and sees a fortune teller for the same thing. Just about the guy. About some man that I might marry. What does she say when she does the cards? The card with some kind of pole on it. Poles and flowers, but poles, spears, or some kind of lines. There is another card with chalice on it, a cup. I see a card with a man or boy carrying a shield. She says I will marry, but I will not marry this man. I see nothing else. Do you see the lady? I see some coins. Are you still with her, or is this a different place? I am with her. What do the coins look like? They're gold. The edges are not smooth. They are squared. There's a crown on one side. See if there's a year imprinted on the coins. Something that you can read in lettering. Some foreign numbers, she replied. X's and I's. Do you know what year that is? 17 something. I don't know when. She was silent again. Why is this fortune teller important to you? I don't know. Does her fortune come true? But she's gone, Catherine whispered. It's gone. I don't know. Do you see anything? No. No? I was surprised. Where was she? Do you know your name in this lifetime? I asked, hoping to pick up the thread of this life several hundred years ago. I'm gone from there. She had left the lifetime and was resting. She could do this now on her own. It was not necessary for her to experience her death to do so. She waited for several minutes. This lifetime had not been spectacular. She had remembered only some descriptive highlights and the interesting visit to the fortune teller. Do you see anything now? I asked again. No, she whispered. Are you resting? Yes, jewels of different colors. Jewels? Yes, they're they're really light. Yes, they're really light, but they look like jewels. What else? I asked. What else? She paused, and then her whisper was loud and firm. There are many words and thoughts that are flying around. It's about coexistence and harmony, the balance of things. I knew the masters were nearby. Yes, I urged. Forgive me, I got kicked out again. Can you hear me? Not again.
Yes, yes.
Oh, so you can hear me. Perfect. Thank you so much. Wonderful. Thank you. Okay. I shouldn't have a Wi-Fi issue today because I connected to the right one. All right. So we'll continue. It's about coexistence and harmony, the balance of things. I knew the masters were nearby. Yes, I urged her on. I want to know about these things. Can you tell me? Right now, they're just words, she answered. Coexistence and harmony, I reminded her. When she answered, it was the voice of a poet master. So the master who's in control. I was thrilled to hear from him again. Yes, he answered. Everything must be balanced. Nature is balanced. The beasts live in harmony. Humans have not learned to do that. They continue to destroy themselves. There is no harmony, no plan to what they do. It's so different in nature. Nature is balance. Nature is energy and life and restoration. And humans just destroy. They destroy nature. They destroy other humans. They will eventually destroy themselves. This was an ominous prediction. With the world constantly in chaos and turmoil, I hoped this would not be soon. When will this happen? When will this happen? I asked. It will happen sooner than they think. Nature will survive. Plants will survive, but we will not. Can we do anything to prevent that destruction? No, everything must be balanced. Will this destruction happen in our lifetime? Can we avert it? It will not happen in our lifetime. We will be on another plane, another dimension. When it happens, but we will see it. Is there no way of teaching humankind? I kept looking for a way out, for some possibility. It will be done on another level. We will learn from that. I looked on the bright side. Well, then our soul progress is different. Well, our souls progress in different places. Yes, we will no longer be here as we know it. We will see it. Yes, I conceded. I have a need to teach these people, but I don't know how to reach them. Is there a way, or did they have to learn this for themselves? You cannot reach everybody, everyone. In order to stop the destruction, you must reach everyone, and you cannot. It cannot be stopped. They will learn. When they progress, they will learn. There will be peace, but not here in this dimension. Eventually, there will be peace, yes, on another level. It seems so far away though, I complain. People seem so petty now, greedy, power hungry, ambitious. They forgot about love and understanding and knowledge. There is so much to learn. Yes. Can I write anything to help these people? Is there some way? You know the way. So the masters tell him, you know the way. We do not have to tell you. It will all be to no avail. For we will all reach the level, and they will see we are all the same. One is no greater than the next, and all this is just lesson and punishment. Yes, I agree. This lesson was a profound one, and I needed time to digest it. Catherine had become silent. We waited, she resting and I pensively absorbed in the dramatic pronouncement of the past hour. Finally, she broke the spell. The jewels are gone, she whispered. The jewels are gone. The lights, they're gone. The voices too? The words? Yes, I see nothing. As she paused, her head began to move from side to side. A spirit is looking at you? Yes. Do you recognize this spirit? I'm not sure. I think it might be Edward. Edward had died during the previous year. Edward was truly oblivious. He seemed to be always around her. What did the spirit look like? Just white, like light. He had no face, not like we know it, but I know it's he. Was he communicating at all with you? No, he was just watching. Was he listening to what I was saying? Yes, she whispered. But he's gone now. He just wanted to be sure that I'm okay, that I'm all right. I thought about the power mythology of the guardian angel. Certainly Edward, in the role of the hovering, loving spirit, watching over her to make sure she was all right, approached such an angelic role. And Catherine had already talked about guardian spirits. I wondered how many of our childhood myths were actually rooted in a dimly remembered past. I also wondered about the hierarchy of spirits, about who became a guardian and who a master, and about those who were neither, just learning. There must be guardians based upon wisdom and knowledge, with the ultimate goal that of becoming godlike and approaching, perhaps merging somehow with God. This was the goal that mystic theologians had described in ecstatic terms over the centuries. They had had glimpses of such a divine union. Short of such personal experience, vehicles such as Catherine, with her extraordinary talent, provided the best view. Her face was peaceful and she was enveloped in serenity. What a marvelous talent she possessed, the ability to see beyond life and beyond death, to talk with the gods, and to share their wisdom. We were eating from the tree of knowledge, no longer forbidden, and I wondered how many apples were left. Carol's mother, so he's going back to his wife, Carol's mother, Minette, was dying from the cancer that had spread from her breast to her bones and liver. The process had been going on for 4 years and now could no longer be slowed down by chemotherapy. She was a brave woman who endured the pain and weakness, but the disease was accelerating, and I knew that her death was approaching. The sessions with Catherine were going on simultaneously, and I shared the experience and revelations with Minette. I was mildly surprised that she, a practical businesswoman, readily accepted this knowledge and wanted to learn more. I gave her books to read, and she did so avidly. She arranged for and took a course with Carol and me in Kabbalah, the Jewish mystical writings that are centuries old. Reincarnation and the in-between planes are basic tenet of Kabbalistic literature, yes, yet most modern-day Jews are unaware of this. How incredible that when I was bedridden, my sister told me about Kabbalah, and there was this center in Toronto that she took me to, and they were talking about reincarnation, but I couldn't last long there. I was not well, but they did talk about the same things that is written in the book and how Maharaj connected the dots. Minette's spirit straightened as her body deteriorated. Her fear of death diminished. She began to anticipate being reunited with her with her beloved husband, Ben. She believed in the immortality of her soul, and this helped her endure the pain. She was holding on to life, awaiting the birth of another grandchild, her daughter Donna's first baby. She had met Catherine in the hospital during one of her treatments, and their eyes and words joined peacefully and eagerly. Catherine's sincerity and honesty helped conceive Minette that the existence of an afterlife was indeed true. A week before she died, Minette was admitted to the hospital's oncology floor. Carol and I were able to spend time with her, talking about life and death and what awaited us all after death. A lady of great dignity, she decided to die in the hospital where the nurses could care for her. Donna and her husband and their 6-week-old daughter came to spend time with her and say goodbye. We were almost continuously with her. About 6 in the evening of the night Minette died. Carol and I, having just arrived home from the hospital, both experienced a strong urge to go back. The next 6 or 7 hours were filled with serenity and transcendental spiritual energy. Although her breathing was labored, Minette had no more pain. We talked about her transition to the in-between state, the bright light, and the spiritual presence. She viewed her life mostly silently and struggled to accept the negative parts. She seemed to know that she couldn't let go until this process was completed. She was waiting for a very specific time to die, in the early morning. She grew impatient for this time to come. Minette was the first person I had guided to and through death in this manner. She was straightened, and our grief was assuaged by the entire experience. I'm probably saying that wrong. Please forgive me. Assuaged by the entire experience. I didn't Google it this time. I found that my ability to heal my patients had significantly expanded, not just the phobias and anxieties, but especially in death and dying, or grief, counseling. I intuitively knew what was wrong and what direction to take in therapy. I was able to convey feelings of peacefulness, calm, and hope. After Minette's death, many others who were either dying or who were the survivors of a loved one's death came for help. Many were not ready to know about Catherine or the literature about life after death, but even without imparting such specific knowledge, I felt that I could still deliver the message, a tone of voice, an empathic understanding of the process and of their fears and feelings, a look, a touch, a word. Again, there are so many ways of giving love, you know? He had learned that from the previous chapter, how the masters had told them that you can be of service in so many other ways. All could get through at some level and touch a chord of hope, of forgotten spirituality, or of shared humanity, or even more. And for those ready for more, suggest readings and to share my experiences with Catherine and others, well, it was like opening a window to a fresh breeze. The ones who were ready were revived. They gained insights even more rapidly. I believe strongly that therapists must have open minds. Just as more scientific work is necessary to document death and dying experiences, such as Catherine's, so is more experiential work necessary in the field. Therapists need to consider the possibility of life after death and integrate it into their counseling. They do not have to use hypnotic regressions, but they should keep their minds open, share their knowledge with their patients, and not discount their patients' experiences. People are now devastated by threats to their mortality. The plague of AIDS, nuclear holocaust, terrorism, disease, and many other catastrophes hang over our heads and torture us daily. Many teenagers believe that they won't live past their 20s. This is incredible, reflecting the tremendous stresses in our society. On the individual level, Minette's reaction to Catherine's messages is encouraging. Her spirit had straightened, and she had felt hope in the face of great physical pain and bodily deterioration. But the messages are for all of us, not just the dying. There is hope for us too. We need more clinicians and scientists to report on other Catherines, to confirm and expand her messages. The answers are there. We are immortal. We will always be together. Chapter 11 has ended. I will start chapter 12. If you could just raise a hand or let me know you can still hear me, since the internet had an issue a bit ago. Anyone could say yes, or just write in chat that you can hear me.
Yes, we can. Son.
Okay, thank you. Chapter 12. So 10 minutes to go. 3.5 months had passed since our first hypnosis session. Not only had Catherine's symptoms virtually disappeared, but she had progressed beyond merely being cured. She was radiant, with a peaceful energy around her. People were drawn to her. When she ate breakfast in the hospital cafeteria, both men and women would rush to join her. "You look so beautiful. I just wanted to tell you that," they would say. Like a fisher, she would reel them in on an invisible psychic line, and she had been eating unnoticed in the same cafeteria for years. And how many satsangs we have, that how Maharaj has blessed lives, and how, like he says, I have to clean this dirty vessel inside, and how it affects everything on the external life. I see, as usual, she sank quickly into a deep hypnotic trance in my dimly lit office, her blonde hair spilling over in rivulets on her familiar beige pillow. I see a building. It's made out of stone, and there's something pointed on top of it. It's in a very mountainous area. It's very damped outside. I see a wagon going by the front. The wagon has hay in it, some kind of straw or hay or something for the animals to eat. There are some men there. They're carrying some type of banners, something flying on the end of the stick. Very bright colors. I hear them talking about Moors, and a war that's being fought. There's some type of metal, something metal covering their heads. Something metal covering their heads. Some type of head covering made of metal. The year is 1483. Something about Danes. Are we fighting the Danes? Some war is being fought. Are you there? I questioned. I don't see that. She answered softly. I see the wagons. They have two wheels and an open back. They're open. The sides are open with slats, some type of wooden slats held together. I see something metal that they wear around their necks. Very heavy metal in the shape of a cross, but the ends are curved. The ends are round on the cross. It's the feast of some saint. I see swords. They have some type of knife or sword. Very heavy, very blunt end. They are preparing for some battle. See if you can find yourself, I instructed. Look around. Perhaps you're a soldier. You're seeing them from somewhere. I'm not a soldier. She was definite about that. Look around. I have bought some of the provisions. It's a village, some village. She was silent. What do you see now? I see a banner, some type of banner. It's red and white. White with a red cross. Is it the banner of your people? I asked. It's the banner of the king's soldiers, she responded. Is this your king? Yes. Do you know the king's name? I don't hear that. He's not there. Can you look and see what you're wearing? Look down and see what you're wearing. Some type of leather. Leather tonic over a very rough shirt, a leather tonic. It's short. Some type of animal skin shoes. Not shoes, more like boots or moccasins. No one's talking to me. I understand. What color is your hair? It's light, but I'm old. There's some gray to it. How do you feel about this war? It has become my way of life. I've lost a child in a previous skirmish. A son? Yes, she was sad. Who's left for you? Who's left in your family? My wife and my daughter. What was your son's name? I don't see his name. I remember him. I see my wife. Catherine had been both male and female many times. Childless in her present life, she had parented numerous children in her other lifetimes. What does your wife look like? She's very tired, very tired. She's old. We have some goats. Does your daughter still live with you? No, she's married and left some time ago. Are you alone then? You and your wife? Yes. How is your life? We are tired. We are very poor. It has not been easy. No, you've lost your son. Do you miss him? Yes, she answered simply, but the grief was palpable. Have you been a farmer? I changed the subject. Yes, there's wheat. Wheat, something like wheat. Have there been many wars in your land through your life with much tragedy? Yes. But you have lived to be old. But they fight away from the village, not in the village, she explained. They must travel to where they do battle, over many mountains. Do you know the name of the land that you live in, or the town? I don't see it, but it must have a name. I don't see it. Is this a very religious time for you? You see crosses on the soldiers? For others, yes. Not for me. Is anybody alive yet from the rest of your family, other than your wife and your daughter? No. Your parents have died? Yes. Brothers and sisters? I have a sister. She's alive. I don't know her. She added, referring to her life as Catherine. Okay, see if you recognize anyone else of the village or your family. If people did reincarnate in groups, she was likely to find someone there who was also significant in her current lifetime. I see a stone table. I see bowls. Is this your house? Yes. Something made out of pear, something yellow, something from corn, or something yellow. We eat this. All right, I added, trying to quicken the pace. This has been a very hard life for you, a very hard life. What are you thinking of? Horses, she whispered. Do you own a horse, or does somebody else? No, soldiers, some of them. Mostly they walk, but they're not horses, they're donkeys or something little than the horses. They are mostly wild. Go ahead in time now, I instructed. You're very old. Try to go to the last day in your lifetime as an old man. But I'm not very old, she objected. She was not particularly suggestible in these past lives. What was happening was happening. I could not suggest away the actual memory. I could not get her to change the detail of what had happened and been remembered. Is there more to happen in this lifetime? I asked, changing my approach. It is important for us to know. Nothing of significance, she answered without emotion. Then go ahead in time. Let's find out what you needed to learn. Do you know? No, I'm still there. Yes, I know. Are you seeing something? A minute or two passed before she answered. I'm just floating, she whispered softly. Have you left him now? Yes, I'm floating. She had entered the spiritual state again. Notice that he said, have you left him? So, that consciousness has left that body. Yes, I'm floating. Do you know now what you needed to learn? It was another hard lifetime for you. I don't know. I'm just floating. Okay, rest. Rest. More minutes passed silently. Then she seemed to be listening to something. Abruptly she spoke. Her voice was loud and deep. This was not Catherine. There are several planes in all. There are 7 planes in all. 7 planes. Each one consisting of many levels. One of them being the plane of recollection. One that on that plane you are allowed to collect your thoughts. You are allowed to see your life that has just passed. Those of the higher levels are allowed to see history. They can go back and teach us by learning about history. But we of the lower levels are only allowed to see our own life that has just passed. We have debts that must be paid. If we have not paid out these debts, then we must take them into another life in order that they may be worked through. Again, in order. So Maharaj blesses us to pay these debts in order that they may be worked through. Your progress by paying your debt, you progress by paying your debt. Some souls progress faster than others. When you're in physical form and you're working through a life. If something interrupts your ability to pay that debt, you must return to that plane of recollection, and there you must wait until the soul you owe the debt to has come to see you. And when you both can be returned to physical form at that same time, then you're allowed to return. But you determine when you are going back. You determine what must be done to pay that debt. You will not remember your other lives, only the one you have just come from. Only those souls on the higher level, the sages, are allowed to call upon history and past events to help us, to teach us what we must do. There are 7 planes, 7 through which we must pass before we are returned. One of them is the plane of transition. There you wait. In that plane, it is determined what you will take back with you into the next life. We will all have a dominant trait. This might be greed, or it might be lust, but whatever is determined, you need to fulfill your debts to those people. Then you must overcome this in that lifetime. You must learn to overcome greed. If you do not, then you return. You will have to carry that trait as well as another one into your next life. The burdens will become greater. With each life that you go through and you did not fulfill these debts, the next one will be harder. If you fulfill them, you will be given an easy life. So you choose what life you will have. In the next phase, you are responsible for the life you have. You choose it. Catherine fell silent. So I'm going to stop here now because we clearly got a really deep learning as, again, we know this, that whatever that we need to accomplish in this lifetime. If we don't, then we have to go back to another lifetime to fulfill that. And if it's not fulfilled there, then we carry more with us. So if we don't resolve our anger in this lifetime, then we have to carry it to another lifetime, where in that lifetime we have to also deal with, let's say, lust. And so it's 2 things, So it gives us such profound insight of and importance to how important it is to follow Maharaj's commandments, because at the end of the day, he just wants to make our life easier, and it truly is. With him, it truly is. So if anyone wants to just share something very quickly, please do, very quick, and then we'll call it a day and we'll continue on this chapter from tomorrow. Okay, so no one raised their hand. It could be a delay.
Yeah.
uh,
Son, I had a question. The video which you had sent, I had watched that. And while watching it, I realized that, I also had some kind of fears and maybe dreams or vision where I'm falling from a mountain or like, height. So is it something to do with the past life? So just a question. It just came in my mind.
Yeah, based on again, the knowledge that we garnered from the book. Remember, she had a dream that her hand was wounded and there was a red fin embedded in her hand. And then when they did the hypnosis session, it was related to a past lifetime. And I can relate to this dream of yours as well. I also had dreams of falling a lot. And it could be, yeah, it is relevant to a dream, to a past life. That that needs to be healed and addressed. So it is relevant. It is relevant to something that you experience, especially you seeing it vividly. You said, right, standing on a mountain and falling. Is that what you said?
Yeah, but quite often I have seen this dream earlier as a kid, not now.
Yeah, I mean, I can only, I can't say for sure, obviously, right?
Yeah.
But
Yes.
having been led to this book by Maharaj, I have realized that, yeah, all those dreams of myself falling and the fears, it wasn't just picked up from this lifetime, it's related to another lifetime. And be sure that Maharaj has guided us in this book that whatever he needs you, so if he wants to bring that lifetime, and maybe this was, there are no coincidences, maybe he's about to do that. Maybe you might actually see a dream of the actual, you might bring that to light where you need to heal that fear of falling. So he'll bring it to light. He will. Again, it's written by the masters that only those dreams that, and for the purpose of having fear disappear, So the message is that don't fear anything. We know that, you experienced something in a previous lifetime. And I can only say that for sure because we're told about the dreams, and then she literally in the hypnosis session talks about that event in her life. So it's just him saying,
Thank
don't
you.
fear it. It's something that happened in a past lifetime.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, again, my continues to get this from Maharaj that this book is for people like me who, of course, with the divine master in our lives, we already are embedded with this wisdom that he's there, he's taking care. But I had a lot of things that I was questioning, and then suddenly this book came into my life. I literally pondered deep, and I know he injects that. Remember, we're continuously told the masters inject the thoughts in you, so in the physical state or not. And I had this question that why? Why do I feel a certain energy with a specific person? They've done nothing wrong, you know? Yeah, I think we can all relate. There's someone in our lives that it's like, this person hasn't done anything wrong to me, but I feel something. I feel it. Life-changing book for me. It's like, oh my God, it's something that was carried from a previous lifetime. Okay, maybe Maharaj hasn't shown me the dream about it, but I need to let go of that, of that fear of being around this person. If anything, when we're with Maharaj, now we're guided. We know that our task is to help and to give and to share the knowledge that he's given. Okay. Anyone else wants to share anything? All right, so we will leave it. I just want to say, Shilpi, what I did with the falling dreams, I just sat in meditation with Maharaj, and I just envisioned him there with me, and it got healed.
Oh, wow. Okay. So
Yeah.
I will try that. Thanks.
He'll guide you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jai Guruji Maharaj. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Namaste. See you tomorrow.
Thank you. Jai Guruji. Thank you, son. Thank you
Thank
so